We'll spend a few minutes to answer your questions.
What do you mean by living totally, deeply, as you said? When you live totally, deeply, the dilemma will not be there. But what does it mean to live deeply or totally? And how to achieve that?
You see, as on now, the early morning when you are in the house, you are thinking of going to the office. When you are in the office, you are just waiting for the lunch time. When you are in the lunch break, you are just waiting when the next session will start. When again, afternoon when you are in the office, you are waiting to come back to the house. When you have come back to the house, you are waiting to go to the beach. When you are in the beach, you are thinking of going back to the house. When you are back to the house, you are thinking next day morning when I will be going to the office. One thing is sure, if you are here, you are not here. If you are in the office, you are in the house. If you are in the house, you are in the office. If you are in the office, you are in the beach. If you are here, you are not here. If you are somewhere, you are not there. When I say live intensely, I say live just inside your boundary. As of now, we never live inside this boundary. It is only center. We leave our luggages here and go around. It's just a lodge. We leave all our luggage at the lodge, take a taxi here, go around to see the Mumbai. Just like that, we leave all our luggages here and go around. We never live inside this boundary. I tell you, don't use your body as a lodge. Use your body as a home. If you use your body as a home, you will feel homely on this planet Earth. If you use your body as just a boarding place, you will be simply bored in the planet Earth. Boredom comes if you use your body just as a boarding place. If you use your body as a home, you will really feel totally homely. I tell you, live just on this boundary. If you are here, be here totally. If you are in the house, be there totally. If you are in the office, be there totally. Live inside your boundary. That is what I call live intensely. Living inside your boundary is what I call live totally. Live with awareness. Live with your consciousness. I tell you, even our physical problems, our diseases, back pain, headache, all these things come because you don't live inside your body. Whenever you don't pay enough of attention to some parts of your body, your body begs your attention. Please give me little attention. Please give me little energy. The begging only you call it as a pain. When you sit, if you are aware, if your body is uncomfortable, immediately the message comes to you. You make yourself comfortable. But if you are not aware, you are just thinking of something else. Even if your body is in an uncomfortable position, you will not understand. After 1 hour only you realize the whole body has become numb. You are under the trouble. Even your physical pains, even if your physical troubles are mainly caused to you because you don't live inside your boundary. When I say live intensely, I mean live inside your boundary. That's all.
Enlightenment is possible through meditation or efforts, or it comes without any efforts?
A small story. A guy went to purchase a ticket, lottery ticket for 2 rupees. He purchased the lottery ticket and got 2 crore in lottery. Whether he got the lottery because of his effort or as a gift, tell me. He put his effort, spent 2 rupees, purchased the ticket. That much he put his effort. But the lottery is gift. So if you see from one side, he has put his effort. If you see from the other side, the effort which he has put, it is no way compared to the gift which he got. Same way, if you put what you have in your hand, you will get the greatest gift what God has got in his hand. He put the 2 rupees which he had in his hand. The God gave 2 crore which he had in his hand. Enlightenment is also the same, just like a lottery. You are supposed to put your effort, what you have in your hand. Then you will see, you will receive a prize, gift, which is not at all equal to your effort. But unless you spend 2 rupees and purchase a lottery ticket, you cannot win the prize. You also need to put the 2 rupees and purchase the lottery ticket. But the gift which you receive will be no way compared to the gift. No way compared to the effort which you put. So it is both way. You also need to put your effort, and it will come as a gift. Whomsoever has become enlightened, they always say, "Oh God, I am not qualified at all for the things which is showered on me, because what you get is too much for what you give." In the other side, before enlightenment, if you just sitting in the house doing nothing, of course, if you can really sit doing nothing, then you can really achieve. But we have learned so much of doing, we can't be without doing anything. At least you need to learn how to not to do anything. When you say people, when I tell the people, please relax, they ask me, "Swamiji, how to relax?" For relaxation, you need some technique, because you have forgotten how to relax. I tell you, enlightenment is almost a lottery business. You also need to put your effort. The 2 rupees what you have in your hand, but you will receive a gift of 2 crores, which is not at all equal to the effort.
During this meditation, if one of your series, I have gone through it, you told us to close the eyes and you will control the thoughts. But when the eyes become stone, but sometimes it is finding very difficult to control the things. How to control it? What is the procedure for that? Can you please explain?
There is a small technique, I tell you. I am instructing to stop the eyeball movements. If you put your efforts in stopping the eyeball movement, then naturally you will see the thoughts are getting controlled. The the movement of the mind and movement of eyeballs is one and the same. When you close your eyes, you will see that eyeballs will be moving, and you will be seeing all the pictures inside the TV. If you stop the eyeball movement, even the slightest movement of the eyeball, naturally you will see mind gets settled. Then you don't have to bother about the controlling the mind. Once your mind has become calm, then if you concentrate just on the humming sound, that is more than enough. There is no need to continuously watch your mind.
Some people have had very bitter experiences in life, and the unpleasant memory of these bitter experiences keeps on perturbing or hurting the individual. And he may try to control his mind and not to react to these emotions. But he is overwhelmed. The emotions are so powerful. Even in spite of making the mind calm, one cannot be free from this pain. So how to be free from this pain?
First thing, you said, because you have experienced so much in the life, the weight has become too much. I tell you, because you have not experienced anything in the life, the weight has become too much. If you really experience any emotion, any mood, it will never be a weight, it will never be a hangover. If you don't experience totally, if you are half, only then it remains as hangover. Every emotion, every thought, every desire has got their own power, their own strength to pull you back to fulfill it. If you have the desire to enjoy it sweet, you are not enjoying totally, you enjoy only half. The desire will have the power, will have the capacity to pull you back to enjoy the same sweet till the thought is totally satisfied. The pull is what I call karma. Anything which you have not enjoyed totally, anything which you have not tasted totally, anything which you have not experienced totally, pulls you back to fulfill itself, because you are total fulfillment. Your very basic nature is a total fulfillment. You are Nitya Tripta. So there cannot be anything inside you which is not fulfilled. You are just made, you are pulled to fulfill it. I tell you, your past emotions are also just unfulfilled things. If you really fulfilled them, you will never have hangover. You will never have so much of pain, so much of burden. The best technique, the Tantra gives a beautiful technique. There is a technique in the Vijnana Tantra. They say, go back and relive whatever hangover is there, whatever situations are haunting you, whatever situations are just coming out in your mind, you are suppressing them. Don't suppress them, let them come out. Just relive them, not only as a memory, with full of feelings, relive them. Reliving is relieving. Reliving is the key for relieving. I tell you, go into the emotions which you are continuously suppressing. Go into the memories which you don't want them to come up. Go into those memories deeply. Go into the emotions deeply. You will see, instead of they becoming a hangover, or instead of they becoming a weight on you, you will be totally be free from the emotions. You will totally be free from the past. This will totally free you from the past hangovers.
What do you mean really?
Really, just sit at least for an hour. Sit for an hour and thoroughly allow the emotions to come in you. Now you see there are so many thoughts will be coming, so many emotions, so many experiences will be coming. You will be suppressing them. You will be pushing them aside. You will be engaging yourself in some other activity. I tell you, sit for 1 hour with yourself and allow everything to come up. If you have been hurt by somebody, just remember the whole incident. You don't have to remember, simply it will come up. It is there, it will come up. When it comes up, relive the whole incident. Let it happen in you. Yes, it has happened, now what can be done? Yes, this is the way I have been hurt. This is the way I felt. This is just a load on me. What can be done? Just go through the whole thing once more, totally, emotionally, intensely. You will see the reliving will be a relieving. The hangover will be relieved. Because the karma, which is not fully enjoyed, which is not fulfilled, will be fulfilled by your reliving. The Tantra gives this as a meditation technique. It is not even a psychological technique, it is a meditation technique. Because once you go through your karmas, the karmas never comes back. There will be memory, but the emotions will not be attached to the memory. There will be a chitta, but there will be no attachment towards you and the chitta. Chitta means memory. The memory will be there, but it will not pull you or push you from your balance.
That means don't react to it.
Yes. Let it come up, let it raise in you and subside. Don't react. Watch raising and subsiding.
I am happy that I am here to listen to a unique soul who has dedicated his life to elevating everybody to a blissful state, to an enlightened level. And one of the things which you have been doing in your life, which is pleasing to the entire world, is to heal people. Please tell us the exact things that you do to heal people. What happens within you and within the person when you do that healing? I want to go out of here as a healer. Thank you.
This is the usual question I face. Everywhere people ask me, Swamiji, what mantra you repeat? What technique you use? What is the secret you are healing? What you do exactly to heal the people? I tell you my honest answer, I don't do anything. Deeply I am absent. Totally I am absent. When I put my hand, when I heal the people, I am not there. Simply I relax. When the sun rises, lotus blooms by itself. Sun doesn't have to go to open the lotus. The very presence of the sun opens the lotus. The same way, when I switch off myself, the very presence heals. The problem is, in your mind, you are not able to switch it off. When you become a hollow bamboo, divine uses you as a flute. When I heal, I don't do anything. I just relax. I just relax into myself. That's the only thing which I do. When you relax, automatically your energy radiates. Even in our healing system, our healers are requested never to make a sankalpa, let this person be healed. Our healers never pray, let the healing be healed. No. They always tell, what is good, let it happen. Even our healers, they never tell what is good, let it happen. They never tell, let it be healed. They just put their hand, and in our healing system, we don't even bother about the patient. When a person puts his hand, he just goes into his meditation. He just relaxes, that's all. We have more than 10 healers in Bombay. I'll tell them to read the healers list. We have more than 10 healers. What they exactly do? Of course, we have 700 healers around the world. Every day, minimum 3,000 people are touched by our healers. So many thousands are getting healed. What exactly we do at the time of healing? They just put their hand and go into the meditation. Over. They just fall into the meditation. Meditation automatically radiates the energy. The energy automatically heals the people. They don't even bother who is the patient and what is the problem. Many people come to me and ask, Swamiji, what are all the diseases you can heal? I tell them, the disease which you can name and the diseases which you can't name, everything can be healed. Because we don't bother what is the disease or what is the thing. We know only one thing, the energy is radiated and the energy takes care of everything. Because energy is intelligence. Power plus intelligence is energy. Energy is intelligent by itself. So energy knows what has to be done. Energy minus intelligence is power. Power plus intelligence is energy. So energy is not simple power. It is intelligence also. So energy knows what has to be done. We do only one thing, we relax and let the energy take its own course. So when we heal, I just switch off the mind. I lose the idea that my boundary ends here, the other person starts there. I just feel that I have lost the idea of boundary. The boundary idea is lost. Then naturally, the energy is flooded into the other system also, and the other system also gets healed. It's almost like a communion. By the word, if it happens, communication. By the energy, if it happens, it is communion. It's almost a communion. That is the reason people, they don't, it is not that they get only healed of the physical disease. Not only the physical disease, even they taste the glimpse of the bliss. There are many people who have been healed. They come and tell me, Swamiji, my disease disappeared, it's okay. But from the day I took healing from you, I feel so energetic, so alive. I am just laughing for no reason. People are asking me, what has gone wrong in you? People are just suspecting me. What can I do about it? See, when the energy comes up, you are continuously in bliss, in the mode of life and alive. It's almost the communion which happens between me and the healing. That's the same thing happens between the healer and healers. Thank you.
Swamiji, you said about the reliving experience. Without putting in the emotions. Now, without putting in the emotions of our past bad experiences is a very difficult thing.
No, I am telling you, when you read, I am not telling you without putting the emotions. I tell you, totally put your emotions.
But then it is going to reoccur again and again.
No, that is a mistake you do. When you relive, it will never come back. It will totally subside. When you consciously relive, it will never attack you again. When you are unconsciously suppressing, only then it comes up again and again and again. I tell you, one man who is born blind, he went to the doctor and asked, "Doctor, can you do something for me?" Doctor said, "Surely, I'll do an operation. You will get your eyes back. Once you get your eyes back, you can walk without stick." The blind people, they use a stick to walk. No? He said, "You can walk without stick." Then the blind man asked, "Doctor, I understand the first two statements. You will do some operation. I will get my eyes. But I am not able to understand. Even if I get my eyes, how will I be able to walk without stick?" Because of long association, he thought stick is also part of him. He thinks even if he gets eyes, he will not be able to walk without the stick. This person cannot be intellectually convinced. Only when he gets the eyes, he will be able to understand he can walk without the stick. Only when you do it at least 2-3 times this meditation, you will understand the reliving is relieving. When you totally go into that emotion, Krishnamurti says in one place, beautifully, he says, if you want to come out of any emotion, if you want to be free from any emotion, the best way is to activate that emotion, allow that emotion to come up totally and just watch. Don't follow. Don't allow your senses to follow that emotion and neither suppress them. Allow them to come up to its peak and just watch them. That's the best way to get rid of any emotion. That's the best way to get rid of the past emotion also. Thank you.
Swamiji, regarding this meditation and healing, you said that when you give the healing, you just relax. That means you are in the meditation.
Yes.
Right? Now, so what is the difference between the meditation and healing?
You see, when I am in the meditation, I am in the meditation. When the energy pours in somebody else, it is a healing. I tell you, the Atma Shakti, when it expresses through my head, it is an intelligence. When it expresses through the heart, it's a compassion. When it expresses through the being, it's an energy. When it is not expressing, when it is there as it is bliss. It's like a moving snake and the stagnant snake. The snake is just resting, it's a meditation. If it is moving, it's a healing. When the energy is, when I am relaxing, when I am in that state, it's meditation. When that meditation energy is pouring, is entering into somebody else, what happens is healing. I can tell, meditation is the cause, healing is the effect. Healing is the side effect of meditation. Healing is the positive side effect of meditation. Healing is the byproduct of meditation. Meditation is a sun, healing is a grace.
Swamiji, you said the life is about total fulfillment of desires. And then you said we should live the life from freedom of senses. Are these two things, I am getting confused between the two things.
One thing, when you are really free from the senses, only then you will have the total energy to fulfill all your desires. A small example, as on now, if you have 100% energy, 80% is spent just in desiring. Only 20% is spent in fulfilling. If you change, only 20% will be spent in desiring and 80% will be spent in fulfilling. It's like you have two things, Ichcha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. Ichcha Shakti is the capacity to desire. Kriya Shakti is the fulfillment, the energy to fulfill the desires. If you are free from senses, only then you will have the tremendous capacity to fulfill your desires. If you are caught up in the senses, you can never have the energy to fulfill your desires. First thing. Now as of now, your energies are spent only in Ichcha Shakti. You don't have energy to spend in Kriya Shakti. If your Jnana Shakti awakens, the shift will totally change. You will spend only 20% in the Ichcha Shakti. Your desires will be reduced automatically. The number of desires will be reduced and the power to fulfill them will increase. So naturally, you will have the freedom from senses and fulfillment of desires. Freedom from senses and fulfillment of desires are very closely related. If you don't have freedom from senses, you will have thousands of desires and very little energy left to fulfill the desires. You will not be able to match, you will not be able to cope up with your desires. It will be just a rat race. Once you are free from senses, then you will understand so much of energy is left. You have abundance of energy to fulfill the few desires which is left.
Practically, how do we get this freedom from senses?
You asked the right question. Practically, how do we get? Only answer, the one and only answer is meditation. The very word meditation makes us feel, oh, it's a long time journey, Swami. Don't think it's a long time journey. I tell you, it is surely not a long time journey. The technique, when you don't get the right technique, only then it's a long time journey. If you get a right technique and the right master, it is surely not the long time journey. It is surely not the long time journey. I can tell you a simple technique now. When you eat, just become a tongue and eat. When you drink, just become your mouth and drink. Even this technique can relieve you from your tongue. This can give you freedom from the tongue. The same way when you listen, forget yourself, simply lose yourself in the music. Get lost in the sound. Just lose yourself in the sound. Just become a music. You will be free from the ears. When you see something, just become that object. You will be free from the eyes. So, these are the few simple techniques to be free from the senses. Of course, when you get the right technique and the right master's presence, meditation is possible and you can be free from senses. These are the few techniques you can try. When you eat, just become the taste. When you listen, just become the music. When you see, just become the scene. You will be lost.
Swamiji, you have healed a lot of people. Now, how can a person be healed if his karmas are not there? Suppose a person got bad karmas. You say, I am still healing. How is that possible? Secondly, you said that I heal people without doing anything or lying. But generally, healing is always with prayer. With prayer, you heal people. Person is a Bible in front of you, you cure. So how is it possible to heal without doing anything? I'm sure you're praying or something. The other thing is, what happens to you when you heal people? You feel weak, some powers gone. What you go through exactly, I would like to know.
Let me explain the first question. How can you heal when the person's karmas are there? See, there is a dark room. You put a torch. What happens to the darkness which is there in the room, which was there in the room? Does the light take away the darkness? No. Very presence of the light makes the darkness disappear. One thing you need to understand, darkness as such don't have positive existence. Darkness is nothing but the lightlessness. Light is a positive existent. Light exists, but the darkness is not existing. Lightlessness is what is called darkness. So when the light comes, automatically darkness disappears. Just like that. Energylessness, what is I call karma. Karma means energylessness. Karma don't have positive existence. When the light is brought for the darkness to disappear, you see, when the light is brought, there is no need, light should go and eat the darkness. No. Just the very presence of the light will take away the darkness. Just like that, when the energy is given, the very energy takes away the karma. There is no need for the energy to eat the karma. There is no need for me to take the karma on me. Understand? Karma is nothing but the lightlessness, energylessness. Energylessness is what is called karma. So when the energy is given, there is no need for me to take that karma. That's the first thing. Next thing, he says, only by prayer people heal. How can you heal without the thoughts, without the prayer? See, if you heal by prayer, the energy comes only from the mental level, mental layer. Based on the intensity of the prayer, the healing will happen. If you heal through the Atma Shakti, through the energy of no mind, you will see the divine itself will be healing. Divine itself will be healing. There are two layers. Energy from mind level, energy from no mind level. Mano Shakti and Atma Shakti. To release the Mano Shakti, you need to pray intensely. To release the Atma Shakti, you need to relax totally. Our healing is based on Atma Shakti, not on Mano Shakti. If it is based on Mano Shakti, you have to take their karma. You are in their level. If you have to use Atma Shakti, only then there is no need to bother about karma, because karma simply gets washed away. Light is flooded. When the light is flooded, darkness simply disappears. There is no darkness. You can see. Here is the light. Backside the fan, there is a darkness. The darkness is nothing but the lightlessness. The moment light is turned towards that side, darkness disappears. It is not that light went there and started eating the darkness. No. Just the presence of the light makes the darkness to disappear. The same way, just the presence of the energy makes the karma disappear. The lightlessness is what is called darkness. Energylessness is what is called karma. So, there is no need for a master to work on the karma. Just the energy takes away the karma, releases the karma. And to release the mental energy only you need prayer. To release the spiritual energy, you need to relax into it. The third question. What's your third question?
What happens to you?
What happens to me when I heal?
Physically?
Do I become weak? Do I become tired? I tell you honestly, I became regenerated. I became regenerated because I am not giving my energy. In those moments, I just became a channel for the energy. So energy just flows through me to that person. So what happens? I am also regenerated. Not only me, even our healers are telling, there's a healer in Bangalore. She says, Swamiji, by evening 6 o'clock, I am totally tired. And when I come back from office, I get headache and I am tired. The first thing I do is, I catch somebody. If the people say I am alright also, I catch them and start healing them. Because once I heal 2-3 people, I am totally regenerated. The energy flows through me. She says, even if my kids say I am alright, I make them lie down and start healing them, Swamiji. Because I feel totally regenerated. Not only me, even our healers say, after every patient, they feel more regenerated. Because the energy is flowing through them. It's like a win-win policy. It is not like somebody is winning, somebody is losing. It is both win in this game. In the other healing systems, you have to earn and spend. In our healing system, already the God has earned enough. Our father's property is there. Only thing we have to spend. We will have to let the energy to work through us. Just we have to become hollow bamboo, relax. Then you will see the energy simply flows through you to the other person. Not only he is healed, you are regenerated. In my life, I can see after every patient, not only the energy flow becomes more, not only I became regenerated, even in the case of healers, after every patient they get regenerated. In other systems, after every patient the energy flow will be reduced. In our healing system, after every patient the energy flow becomes more. In our healing system, not only the person gets heals, I also get regenerated.